All right, I'd like to call the meeting to order. First thing to do is act on the agenda. I would make a suggestion that we move our updates to the MERP grant to the top of our agenda so that Cindy could talk with us and doesn't have to stay all night.
I'll second that.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. So the next thing to do is act on the agenda.
I'll move that we act on the agenda as written and amended.
Would that be minutes? Didn't we just say the agenda?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes,
Oh,
act
yeah.
on the minutes, sorry. Thank you.
I move that we accept the minutes as written.
All those in
Second.
favor? Aye.
Aye.
Public comment.
Yes.
No one's here. Okay, so can we now talk about the MERP update? What our initial plans are is to put this out to bid and have it go out to bid by next week. We had a meeting, and in that meeting, Martha had pointed out something in our newly adopted procurement policy that she felt the wording was off and needed to be adjusted. So she, Cindy, and Jason read through it, and they came up with ideas to change the wording. But then I had a few questions of that this did come from the Vermont, the VLTC, where they're all legal documents, and there's the lawyers that are the ones that put that together. So today, I wish I'd reached out earlier, but I didn't, but today I reached out to them to ask them what their thoughts were on changing the wording, because the way I read it, it didn't seem to need to be changed. I asked Cindy to come in and explain why she thought, or why their group thought they needed to be changed, but I'm still not 100% sure of why the wording should be changed. And not only that, I am a little concerned that we did have the document written by a team of lawyers, and we did adopt it, and I don't read it the same way that maybe Martha read it. I think it was initially Martha that brought it up.
Yeah, and Jason.
And Jason.
Too, but.
So could you explain what your take is on it and why you...
Sure. Okay. Do you have the procurement policy in front of you? Copy of it? If not, I can kind of explain this.
Thank you.
There's really-
If you wouldn't mind, that would be great, if you explained it.
Oh, okay, yeah, absolutely. There's a section, and the only section where there's, and it's not that there's an issue with it, but if we are to abide by this, to the letter of the law, we need to know that in releasing this bid. And it may require that you do have more, let's say, guarantees and bonding than what you might really want to do. Under the bid specifications, there's a number of bulleted items, 2 of which were questioned. For bid specifications, and these are for projects, for purchases over $250,000, that these specific specifications come into play. And it says that for purchases over 250, bid specifications shall include. There's that shall word. That means you gotta have it, not may include, but it says shall include. And this is where Martha was concerned that whether we have all these things for this bid. The first one that's highlighted says bond and/or insurance requirements. The insurance requirements, the state has some standard insurance requirements, specific requirements that any contractor would have to provide the town of a certificate showing those requirements and naming the town as additional insured. So in case of any damages that they may cause unforeseen in the process of the construction, they're covered to make amends on any damage. That's what that line means, even though it says bond and or. Bond would be, if they didn't have enough insurance as required by the state, they can always bond additional insurance so that they have the adequate coverage to the approval of the board. That's that, just to explain that one line, because we've changed the wording a little bit on that one line. We basically just took away the word bond and just said, you gotta have the insurance requirements as stated in the state standard agreement.
So the one we have printed has the word bond, and you're proposing that we would remove that.
Yeah, see, this has bond and or insurance requirement, and in our comment first line.
See, now the way I read this, and this is why I questioned it,
Yes, you
because it
did,
says bond and or. So the and or portion to me says that we're already covered, because it doesn't mean that we have to have the bond. It means we can have the bond and or the insurance
But
requirements.
only for insurance as a result of damages. Has nothing to do with whether or not these guys get the job done. It's only if they cause damages in the process of getting it done. That's why the bond is included in this insurance line. Because if you look at this other yellowed section, which is really the one that is just, it seems like it's just overboard in what it requires. It says, in addition to the insurance, for construction projects, this is just construction, not design, which we just did. Language that sets a requirement for a bid guarantee. There's three things that are being asked for you to specify in this one little bullet. A bid guarantee and the amount of 5% of the bid price. Bid guarantee is monies that the bidder has to put up to guarantee that what they're giving you, they're gonna follow through if you select them. So they basically can't back down from their bid price if they were to be selected. So that is a 5% basically guarantee or monies that they have to give you for every bid, and then you select somebody, then you give the money back to everybody after the fact.
It's not like in escrow or something, you actually give it, like, they don't give it to a third party.
Yeah, technically that's.
So they have to come up with the 5%.
So they gotta
to just submit the bid.
pretty much, yeah. And
You're
that's,
proposing we get rid of that.
well, I'll show you what we propose as well.
Okay.
But that's one thing within that bullet that it's asking for. Then it's got a comma, as well as performance and payment bonds in the amount of 100% of the contract price once the contractor is awarded the bid. So what that's saying is that that contractor has to go out and get a bond for $450,000 in case they cannot complete the project as contracted. They didn't damage anything, unforeseen circumstances, but should they not complete the project on time, according to price, for whatever reason, I don't really know the details, but it's for their performance, then the town they would have to, I guess, more or less provide the funding to the town in order to allow the town to get the job done, like some other way. So that's a very common, performance bond is very common with construction companies. I've done a few contracts where that was required. I've done contracts where it was required, but the grant paid for it, the fee, like $150,000 bid bond. It cost the contractor actually got the contract holder to use their grant money to pay him back for that fee. Because that's his fee. And I don't really know, does he get that back at the end if he didn't use it? I don't really know any more than that of how these bid bonds work, but that's the purpose of it, is for the performance. There's also, it says, as well as performance and payment bond. Payment bond, that's the third thing in this bullet. That's kind of a guarantee that the contractor pays his subs. Now, typically, we don't really care. I mean, that's his deal. If this was a federal funded program, project, and you have to do Davis-Bacon and make sure that all your subs are paid a
But
certain
if the
minimum
subs
wage.
weren't paid, couldn't they come back and put a lien on the town?
Well, that's how you word your contract with them to protect you from that. I don't typically see payment bonds in contracts. If it's what I'm thinking, if it's federally awarded and you have to, or we would have to do Davis-Bacon, we would have to have proof that they're paying certain minimum wages to the subs. And you kind of maybe want a payment bond because federally that'd be a real problem. Now, whatever the deal is between the contractor and his subs is one thing, but we as a town would write this contract to protect us from any of that. I don't know that you necessarily have to have a payment bond. So you're not, in addition to a performance bond and a bid guarantee and all these things, I mean, it's a lot of money for a contractor to put up. And this is of course up to the town. But given that it's so restrictive, basically saying you gotta do these 3 things, at least that's the wording, the way it's read, the way we read it at Mark for those items. So instead of that, we were proposing, that you strike that bullet in total, and then you replace it with another section below that. Let me just show you how it's kind of looking here. So this is what we were just talking about, these bullets under specifications shall. So we're rewording this, and what we're doing is adding we're rewording this. So we're keeping what Jason suggested, rather than striking it, he thinks a performance guarantee of something is kind of important. You want to make sure that you're going to get what you're paying for. So he said for this wording, forget about the bid guarantee and the payment bond for now, but for the performance bond, he's saying that construction projects, language that sets a requirement for a performance guarantee in the form of a bond as a percentage of the contract price, which is what that other one said, it's gotta be 100%. He's providing some flexibility in that. Or other form approved by the board, select board. So having it read vaguely kind of gives you, I mean, you could do pinky swear. I mean, it just broadens it a little bit so you're not, shall be 100%. Maybe it's more appropriate that it's something else. I mean, and again, this is up to the board, but if you were to kind of provide more flexibility in what you want, depending on the project, what you want to do. You could have wording like that, and then at the bottom, add bid specifications may include, and then you can mention bid guarantee in the form of 5% of the bid price or other amount or form approved by the select board.
You're taking out the shall. So
yeah, it says, this is now saying bid specifications may include.
So that's the same saying it doesn't have to include though.
Exactly.
So why put it in there at all?
Well, because you need to be aware that this is something you might want to consider. So yeah, I think it's
Just
good to
kind of a
have
reminder.
it. Yeah, that perhaps it is appropriate to have it.
It's giving us, but, so my concern is that this was rewritten by, and I understand by Jason, and it hasn't gone through any legal oversight into us changing it, those words, but does that matter? They're small words, it's not.
I just want to understand something. So the reason that you're saying it should be changed is because if we send it out to bid with that vernacular, that's the original, that it's somehow going to make the sort of the bar or the standard set too high for people?
Kind of, yeah. I mean, that, and I'm a little, I think we're even more, not concerned, but maybe you'd say concerned. in that the the firm that did the design is bidding on the project. So everything's really should be, and that's fine, because they were upfront with that when they did our contract, and that's all they really need to be. I mean, they shouldn't be part of the RFP process, and I don't think they should even really see the final RFP we're putting out until it's posted.
Right.
As
Right.
with everybody else,
Right.
even though she said you can pass the draft by me, and I'm thinking to myself, I don't think so. So we just want to do this right, because chances are, they obviously know a little bit more what's going on, which is, again, fine, but I just think you want to be by the book, whatever it is. So if your procurement policy is asking for these shall, this, that, and the other thing, then you pretty much have to do it unless you change your policy.
It becomes more restrictive.
Right, I get that.
Yeah.
But I mean, is it more restrictive or is it more protective?
Well, it's kind of, well, you could say it's both. Whether you really need the protection to that extent on all these projects. Now, a $250,000 construction project, when it involves transportation, then yeah, those people are kind of more or less used to seeing all these requirements and meeting bid specifications, Charlie. I think, Charlie, is that true? Like, do they, when you do large construction projects, road projects, is there a bid guarantee when these things go out, and a performance bond and a payment bond? Do
Boy,
they
I
do all
don't think
those?
so. I don't think so.
He doesn't think so.
Jeanette would probably know better than I, but
Oh,
I don't believe so. Nothing that I'm aware of.
I can think of, but I don't know
Yeah.
if that has to do with the fact that when they get that big, we have an engineer that takes care of
Right.
all of that, and maybe there's something between them.
Right.
Do you get billed, so you contract with the engineer and not the construction company? That cost they sub the construction, the engineer typically?
Well, I'm just thinking
Yeah.
about the big box culvert on North Hill, so Everett was the engineer. He put out the bids and all
He
of
doesn't
that.
necessarily sub it.
Right.
He just
makes all
reaches
the
out to
arrangements.
companies that he's worked with in the past that he knows are competent
Right.
to do the job.
And we got bids from everybody. And
And
then,
who does the contract? Who reviews the
well, the
contract?
select board.
So, because again, I'm just, so this original contract was coming from the I always say it wrong, VLCT, is that right? And they're doing like, they literally are going by like the letter of law. Here's what we think it should be to cover all the
I think
bases.
that's the good question. I mean, this is considered a model or a template.
Right.
For
So
procurement
then
process.
secondarily though, I guess my question is, are you wanting to change it because you're thinking that if we send it out to bid, nobody's gonna wanna bid on it because it's too restrictive in some way? Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think it's probably a little more restrictive than it needs to be to have a fair bid out there. But let me just preface this too. This VLCT, they don't no longer have this on their website as a model procurement policy. I don't know, if Martha and I looked at that last week, and I didn't print that out, but if you go on their site now and you look under procurement policies, it's nothing at all like that. It's just guidelines. It's just, you may want to consider having this, you may want to have this. And there's none of this already.
So it's not a
print off.
template anymore.
It's not this anymore.
Okay.
And it's not even revised. It's just a totally different approach to what they're recommending for town. I think realizing that small towns, some of this is just a little too much for most of what they do. But you should take a look at that and see, because it does still recommend a performance bond, but it says very little about any of this anymore. So that's why I'm saying I don't know that this is like what you absolutely have to have. This was a kind of a recommendation or a template.
I have one more question, just because I want to understand. So and I just don't know, this particular procurement bond, I can't say that word well.
Procurement policy.
I can't say
I know, I have a
procurement, I don't know why I
problem.
can't. Did we pay to have this done?
I don't
The one that
believe
we have?
so.
No.
No.
Okay, and so, but would we be paying someone to change it?
No, I think we would we would decide right now to change
Make a
those
motion.
words, make a
Change it.
motion to change it. And they're not big changes.
Right,
Um,
I mean,
And so it's kind of one of those things, how does everyone feel about, I know we just put this in place, how does everyone feel about making small changes that would,
When was this put in place?
we just sat down with it, what,
Originally, within the last few months.
Originally in 2019, but they just revised it earlier this year.
What revisions did you make to it?
Financial limits.
right,
Like the,
The amounts.
The amounts.
the amounts that can
like
be
the
spent.
250?
And what
Yeah.
permissions and so
Right.
on would be required,
Right.
what approvals would be required for the different levels. That was the main bulk of
Right.
our discussion.
Okay, I was just looking
It had
to see
nothing to
where-
do with anything that you're talking
Yeah,
about.
we
it
didn't
right.
touch that other verbiage.
Oh, I say for major purchases with a value between, oh, I
Right,
see,
yeah.
yeah, federal
Right,
fund,
right.
newspaper, yeah, because those fall down.
I guess that's why I'm a little confused,
Right.
because we didn't,
We didn't,
I'm not, I guess I wasn't,
didn't
right.
dig that deep into
Well, we
it.
didn't look that deep into it, and so I think we didn't, like, so the idea that we're now talking about trying to revise it again is kind of like, because we weren't doing any of that, we just, this is what we accepted.
And you don't have to revise it. I mean, I'm not saying you have to revise it, all I'm saying is if you don't revise it, then we've got to ask, the way it reads, we have to ask for these things in a specific.
so let me,
So I read it as and or, but then
well,
as
given the
that's
and is in there,
insurance
it doesn't
total.
really mean or, it means you need, it's so confusing when you say and or.
But the and/or is only on the insurance.
Right, so the bond is
Here,
the
there's
first
no
part.
and/or in here.
Right, and also the bond is not part of the and or. It's,
Well, I think what this is.
you need a bond and you need, or
Or,
you need.
yeah, or you
I
have
don't know.
insurance.
It's-
Because you could have, in other words, they could,
See, that's how I read it, is that you could have a bond or you could have the insurance. It will be
But
up to us as a board.
but it's only for damages. It's not a performance
Not the
guarantee.
performance guarantee.
Right.
It's not a payment guarantee. It's not a bid guarantee.
Now, when you say it's not, you mean insurance is not that.
No, correct.
That's what you mean.
Yeah, they're not, this is not insurance. This is, I don't have this, do you have the Merck grant? Where they have the state, I'll show you what insurance this.
I don't know if I'm gonna.
Anyway, one other-
Please.
There's a section in the Vermont State Standards and Provisions for all subs and contracts, and it was attached to your grant agreement. You have to have it with every contract that you do, and the contractor has to put it in their subs contract as well. And within that is information on what this insurance piece really needs to be. And that, you absolutely have to follow that and have that required insurance. Now, so that's why, Jason's like, you don't even want people to try to bond instead of their insurance. I mean, they can still take out a bond and say, I'm protected if I, take your wall down by accident, here's my insurance and,
I don't have a copy of the Merck grant on me. I mean, I'm sure I do right here somewhere, but.
So just one reiteration, I think you've made it clear, but I just want to make sure I got it right in my head. If we make the changes you suggest, they would be the verbiage we have would be completely in line with what is now recommended. As far as guidelines, which are now
oh,
present.
yes. Yeah, in other words, if we made these changes
We
and
would
you
be
compare
compliant.
that to the new template, yes,
We would fulfill everything
Yes.
that was needed there.
yes.
Okay.
I can't pretend to really understand it very deeply, but I'm always for wiggle room. At least on our side.
Yeah, I think we want to get the work done after all we put into it. But so we want bids to come in, right?
Yeah, and I don't know how much of these, I mean, unlike a big construction company doing big road work out there, these guys, I don't know. Now, talking with, when we were sitting down with Shelley, when we had that conversation with her, and we were chatting about this. And she was like, I don't think you need a performance bond. Of course you don't. You don't want to pay it, because she's going to be bidding on it, Now, I don't know. I just think, and Jason thinks you should have something in the way of a performance. He's even providing more leeway. I wouldn't even suggest you do. I would ask for 100% performance bond. I would just ask for that. And then what you can do though, if you keep it worded like this, because we're not even in the wording for the performance bond, Jason is allowing for, or other form, some kind of guarantee for. He's even providing more than, but you still could in your bid, you ask in your RFP, you say we want 100% performance bond, but then you can negotiate that with a contractor. Like if you select a contractor and you're negotiating the final terms of the contract, you can negotiate that out if you wanted to. So it's not like you can't, because no bidders want to do a performance bond, that you can't still pick one. You're going to pick the best bid. Maybe it's not going to have everything that you've got in the RFP, but then there could be negotiations or discussion on that. So you're not really cornering yourself by asking for a.
But if we put it out to bid at 100% performance bond, then the people that would bid on it assumably would be willing to do that.
Yes, and you're gonna get a real reputable construction company just to doing that kind of thing. I'm just not familiar with this type of construction, what they're gonna ask for. Certainly, I think bid guarantee and payment bond and all that.
100% is a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot.
I feel like that'll knock a lot of people out.
It could, and for all I know, it could knock out. I really don't know. But there should be some wording. Even if in the RFP you keep the exact language that Jason's suggesting, which is some kind of performance guarantee to be negotiated or something like that. You could do that. When Jason suggested these changes, he didn't say, but they gotta, pass it by legal before you can do it. I don't think he would have mentioned that if he thought that was.
Yeah, it just, that is always my big red flag is, should we take this one step further and ask, the lawyers to help us write it.
I don't know, if you read the current.
The current one, I didn't,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
Yeah, it's just like guidelines.
Charlie, did you have something to say?
I just didn't know if Cindy had worked with any other projects similar to this and know what type of companies.
That would be bidding on this? No, I haven't.
You have no idea.
I have not, no.
Because I feel like asking for 100% to like Trumbull Nelson or House Writer, and some of these larger commercial type contractors really wouldn't be a big deal. I think they deal with that, but I think you're going to weed out a lot of the smaller contractors that might bid and might give you a better price.
So how with the performance
They might
bond,
not be able to
the
do the
company
project.
puts up the money.
So
Right.
how do we, somebody want to make a motion?
If they don't tap into that, that money's gone, right? They don't get any of that back.
I don't
know how
believe so.
Yeah, I don't know how much.
I would just like to clarify among the group what you think regarding Architect as a candidate, one of many possible candidates, but they did the design work. So I didn't know on the budget from Architect that they intended to include overhead for a performance bond.
You saw that in their,
I don't recall. So they've given us a budget for the project.
yeah.
And they have a whole bunch of expenses on there listed. And off the top of my head, I do not recall
See,
seeing that.
yeah.
Okay, and so.
So what that's saying is that she's not budgeting money to allow the board to pay the contractor for the money they gotta put up for the bond. Because sometimes they do,
Right.
where, in the grant, you could budget it and say performance bond, meaning we want you to have a performance bond so bad we're willing to pay for it as a contract holder. And if she didn't put that in there, it wasn't accounted for. So whoever is going to pay this bond, if you have it, would be above and beyond.
The contract, the budgeted amount.
Yeah.
Do we still have some extra money that's not totally
We don't have
designated?
100%, which is one of the things that, I mean.
I don't know
think
what a
that's-
bond, I'm trying to think, do you know what the percentage of performance bond is?
No.
I'm trying to think, it's not a lot of money. Like I'm thinking for Park Street School, we had I'm thinking, and I don't know if they negotiated part of it, but it's like over a $2 million construction job. This was Adams, and they took out a performance bond, and I saw it come through because I was administering that money. And it was like $150,000 and $2 million, or maybe even more than that. I think it was like over 3.5, 150. So I don't know, what would $500,000 be? I mean, if you want to think of it that way, I mean, how much money really is it? Because technically, I think it's really just, you're gonna be working with these guys, we're gonna make sure that they're getting the job done and trying to, work out any issues or problems along the way. So what are the odds that they're gonna really need to tap into it? I don't know. And it's gonna be that much money for them. I don't know.
Well, if we leave it open-ended as to the amount that we're going to ask for, although if we're putting this out to bid today, then we need to come up with that amount. Well, the first thing we would need to do is to decide whether or not we want to change the wording. If we do indeed change the wording, then we need to decide on whether or not, what the amount of that performance
Or,
bond
I
that we
wonder-
would.
Well, maybe you don't. Maybe you can just say, what was this?
I was gonna say, I don't think we have to come up with an amount, not the way that's worded.
Yeah, I thought
It would be good if we had
Put it out to bid, I would
the
think they
day
want to
to
know what
ask
the.
Shelley, and if we checked in with them, they probably would tell
Oh, we
us
can't,
very
no, we
simply.
can't, we can't.
Oh, yeah, we can't
Okay.
ask them.
It's not, because it has to go out to bid too.
It has to go there.
Oh,
They
no.
can't have an advantage.
Right.
that's right. I'm looking for, what was this? Why can't we just use this language? Just write straight out of, if you change this wording in the policy, that a performance guarantee will be required either in the form of a bond as a percentage of contract price or other form approved by the select board. So
So, right.
I
so
don't
we
see any
have-
reason why you can't actually put that in your RFP.
Right.
And then
And then negotiate as your.
negotiate with your selected.
Okay, yeah, I mean, that sounds,
I mean,
what are you thinking? That sounds to make sense to me.
Yeah, just one more question. So we have not really used this template in previous RFPs, is what it sounds like. For the jobs over
We haven't had jobs, we
250,000.
haven't had jobs like this.
Well, we might have had a major road work equal to
Yeah,
that.
any of the box culverts would, well,
Would have
not,
been
I shouldn't say
exceeded.
any, but one came in under that. I think a lot of the others must have been around that, you know?
Okay,
But we haven't looked, they haven't used this.
right. So it hasn't protected us, given that we haven't used it. Right?
But you've been okay.
And so I think I'm in favor of softening it. That leads me to think, okay, we haven't done it up until now with other projects. Now we read it, it's quite stringent. We're getting advice that says it may be too stringent for some companies to be able to think they can bid for this, even though they could do the work. And even though they are doing other work on similar projects around the state. I would like to embrace, I guess, or accept the proposed changes.
That's my gut reaction to it.
Anyone want to second that?
Sure.
All those in favor?
Right.
Are you was that an aye or an A?
That was an A.
Was it an A?
So,
You might
More
have
protection.
more experience than this
Well,
too.
this is more protection,
I know,
and that's less
look at this.
protection. Granted, we haven't used it before, but it's been voted on. I'm fine moving forward.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yes.
A couple of things.
Sure.
So I'm gonna leave with you. Here's the part that I think you are. So this, what I sent you is the Word doc. Let me took out some, okay. But yeah, the insurance, it shall include insurance requirement, and we will when we do have that in the RFP. It's gonna include this language that I kind of just read out, which it provides a little more flexibility as a bond or this or that, to be approved by the select board. And then we're gonna move down to may include that big guarantee, the payment bond, and there was, and I didn't get to finish it, and a copy of the proposed contract. That was the other thing that Mark and I'm like, how are we gonna before, with this bid going out, come up with a contract? Would be, that's a lot to ask for too without seeing the bids and, especially with some language that's gonna be, we're not sure exactly what that's gonna be. So we moved that down to May as well, but we do have in the bid invitation, we do have any provisions, like all the state contract provisions are in the RFP. This language will be in there. So all the important things from this policy that are relating to this bid is going to be in the RFP.
So I guess my question also is that without having this new policy written tonight, can we put this out to bid? Can we make a decision to put it out to bid tonight because we don't have the RFP in its entirety?
Well,
I feel
that's
like
this. And I had forwarded to you, but I'm sure you hadn't had time to look at it.
No.
And before I even answer that question, now this just has to go to the paper, to be out on Wednesday of next week. This has to be given to the paper on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So, you can also vote to say, yes, we agree with this procurement policy
changes.
on the condition that, I don't know, if you want to go check something on the condition that, we check the Vermont League of City and Towns and get a chance to review that, or other condition. I mean, if you don't want to, so I think you can also do that if that's something that can be by Friday, that you can all feel comfortable, with what you're.
I don't think they'd review it that fast.
No. Not this time of year.
So do you all feel comfortable changing our policy with that wording? And then in turn, this RFP going out to
On
bid on Friday?
Based on that policy.
Would you like to? So
Kind of two different things, isn't it?
I think we
already voted on that.
We already
we already voted on this, but do you feel comfortable putting this out to bid now that we've changed that? The RFP?
Yeah.
Okay. With those changes in
Yes,
mind in the
yeah,
RFP?
yeah, and so I'm gonna change, I had the performance bond in here, so I'm gonna change that language to reflect what you just approved. And the other couple of things here on this RFP, I just want to go over what we have in this dates to make sure that because there was some back and forth
Right.
with when you wanted to do this. So it would be released on Wednesday, December 17th. It'll be posted on the Andover website. And whatever your appropriate postings are, I think it's in here somewhere, on the procurement policy, but we'll get that posted on December 17th. Then there is site visit. They're gonna have to come. I'm sure, if there's any, probably not Architem, but if anybody else is interested in bidding, I would imagine they'd wanna come and look at the building. So do you wanna have just a set date? I know we kind of talked about that where, hey, if you wanna see,
We talked about having it be a set day
yeah.
so that we don't have people here back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I like that.
So, and I thought that was a good idea. And
Okay. And shall I work with Jeanette? And this would just be, they would have to be led into the buildings Shelley offered to be there and answer questions. I don't know that we necessarily want that.
No, yeah.
But if there's a set date, this is the day you can come and you can take a look. I can work it out with Jeanette as to what would work. I mean, if
And
you
I
would
could
be-
come over, or I'm speaking
come
for
over.
you, Rich is right close by.
Well, that would make the most sense because if they have questions, I certainly can't answer them, and I'm just as public
And you wouldn't
here.
have to.
I don't think it would be at all appropriate for Shelley to be here.
No,
Right.
Right.
Agreed.
no,
All
I
right.
agree.
If she's bidding though, she might show up, but just to see who
Right.
else is bidding.
Sure.
But you're right. And this wouldn't be, if they have questions, there's a date for submitting those questions in writing to Martha, and she'll work with getting those answers and post them on the website. So we would have to, this is typically how I would do. If bidders have a site visit and they have questions, they provide somebody, and it's gonna be us, with the questions. We get the answers and we post the questions and the answers on the website. That's typically, so that all bidders can see what the questions were and what the answers are. That's transparency, and that's good. So between the 17th, when it's posted, and these dates that we picked, and the 7th of January, a Monday, we want to put a site visit in there. So can I work with you on picking
How about
that
Rich
day?
and I,
Or Rich?
Sure.
on what
Okay.
day would work best? We
Between,
both can be,
sometime between the 17th of December and the 7th of January. Just give me any, whatever day works for you. I'm gonna put it in the RFP, that's the
Okay.
date that they have to come. And then Martha and I'll get the answers, we're gonna post the answers, see, this is all, I'll set up, post the answers. This is the release, site visit,
dates.
deadline for questions in writing, deadline for us answering them and posting them on the website. And then on Monday, which is your board meeting, on the 26th of January, by 3 p.m., is that the, Monday's 3 p.m. close, right, Jeanette?
Yeah.
Could I put then 3 p.m. as the deadline for
But it's
receiving?
not gonna go out
So
until
you would
17.
have to have received either by mail or people dropping off by that
Really tough
date.
to do
You
it
stamp
before
them,
Christmas.
receive date. Anybody after
I'm
that,
thinking like the 5th.
can't accept it.
My birthday.
Don't do that. Birthday.
And then,
The 6th.
We do it
That
the sixth.
evening-
That works for me.
this is what, Shelley, I guess you were talking with Rich about it, for your 6:30 meeting is gonna be when you open those bids. So they'll get all received that day by 3 o'clock, and then I'll be here waiting for you, and then that'll be the public meeting that
If they have questions.
someone has to, usually a select chair would open them up, and you just read out, you don't have to read out everything, all you gotta read out is
So,
the contractor providing the bid and the bid amount.
That is
Tuesday.
on Tuesday.
I don't know if I should ask Robin.
Let's wait until they're done with their conversation.
Yeah.
Right, I know.
29th.
29th, okay. That works.
Is there one bid for all 3 buildings, or are they could
Yes.
bid individually? There's one for this entire property.
Yeah, the way we've got it worded here is that they need to provide,
We were picking that day, sorry.
like a breakdown of the bid for each building.
Right.
And the appendices in this are the drawings and the specs, and there's also an appendix for the state standard provisions. But then we say that their bid price, would include it all, but it's that total that they're committing to. So if they had to move money, between the buildings,
Whatever works for
they'd
you.
be able to
Yeah,
do
that
that.
works.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, throw all this at you.
So we picked December 30th as
Oh,
our.
okay.
In the morning if possible,
Yeah, do you want to put a time between blah and blah? Let's do
9
that.
to 12, I guess,
Okay.
if that's enough
9
time.
to 9:15.
You're good.
Is that when you're going to come? Are you going to join us?
I think that's, yeah, I think 3
I'll
hours,
take a
somebody.
vacation day, so I can be here.
Yeah.
Chris, you can do it.
Okay.
All right, so it'll be the 30th, I'll put that in. And are you still comfortable with receiving the bids on the 26th by 3 p.m.?
Yes.
Opening the bids
Yeah.
6:30 that
Yeah,
evening?
I've changed my schedule around,
Okay.
so that works.
Okay. So if people are coming for site visits, should they just, to let them know they're coming, can I have them contact you, Jeanette? Okay. you don't have to answer any questions, and they'll need to know that, and I'll put
You're gonna say I
that.
didn't have to answer the phone?
Leave a message. That's me.
They have to put their questions in writing, and I'll make sure that's clear in here, and I think you already have that in here, that it is. There was something else. I thought. Oh, the grant amount in here. Okay, so I have, and this'll, I'm gonna make these changes and then you can have them, or if it's just you and Rich that wanna review it. It's important that we put in the amount of funding available to do this, because Architon knows that. So everybody's gotta know that. So I do have,
And not
in
total.
here, yeah. With the bids, we do ask to provide a breakdown of all costs according to the divisions included in the specification outline for each building as instructed in Division 00. So if you look at the specifications, you see how they're broken down. We want them, and that's kind of your budget, and we want them to provide that kind of detail. But then I say the total project bid shall be provided as a not-to-exceed amount. And after that, I just add the total amount of funding available for this project is $448,022. And that's the amount that we have with the grant and those two incentives, Efficiency Vermont incentives. So I think it's important that we put that in there,
Right.
because
Well, we want to be very clear that we will not go over budget.
Yeah.
And that any bids that come in, if you let them know that.
so, you're giving them the max that you have, but they're gonna be close to that, so your decision isn't really gonna be, I'm guessing, price. It's gonna be everything else, that has to do with these
Okay.
bids.
That's
Just
all.
generally. Do you want references? We do ask for including experience with similar construction projects. I think that's always good to know, because it's a little different. We don't even know a lot about doing these kind of projects. But there's also something, references is another thing you could, or is just requesting experience with similar projects enough?
I would say that's enough, and then we can ask them.
Okay.
I mean, you would think that they would.
Yes,
Add that
you
in.
can. If
You
you
know, we
want to
can ask,
select
yeah.
a contract, you're not really sure, you can say, oh, by the way, can you
Yeah.
provide references? I agree. If everybody else, okay. And those were the only things, I guess the last one is completed by 11/30. This project needs to be completed by 11/30/2026. And we want that completed, not substantially complete. Okay. So,
Or do we give them a little leeway, only because
No.
we know we can?
I wouldn't, because you're talking efficiency stuff, you're talking insulation, windows, doors.
Oh.
Do you want to have it open to weather the end of November?
Do you want to have it open to
No, not at all.
Right.
Not
and
at all.
if something comes up and you got a change order, well, you deal
That's
with
good
it then,
advice.
right?
It can get dragged out forever. I'd make it real.
Okay.
Right,
And I believe that will weed out people who are on the bubble of whether they can get it done or not.
Right.
exactly,
Well,
yeah.
people who know they can get it
Yeah,
done.
yeah. It's true.
So I think the question I wanted to ask before was the same question that Charlie asked you, so just make sure I heard right. So we're just looking for only somebody who can bid all three buildings, the whole thing. They're welcome to subcontract however they have to, but we're just looking for one bid for the whole thing, and we're not required to take the lowest bid.
We're
We
not.
can choose any
can
bid we
choose
want.
Whatever
Yes.
bid we want.
Okay.
Right.
And the other thing with this too, as a protection for the town, they have to provide a list of their subs when they submit their bid.
Oh.
And in here it says that you can't just change them after
Oh, really?
you've been awarded. You have to stick by those subs. If you need to change your subcontractor, you guys get approval on that. So they can't go and go with some cheaper guy or something different.
Uncle
It's
Frank.
got to be pretty much what they've
Right,
committed to. If
committed
they
to.
have to make a change, that's only with approval of the board that they can change a sub. So we got that in here too. I think that's important. I think it's expected too.
And that's something we could check if,
Well, when they put the bid in, it'll be, their subs will be in there.
Yes.
we could check with this. I mean, obviously, in order to bid on something, you really do need to have a well-developed crew that you've worked with, that you can depend on, and
Yes.
if we were suspicious at all, we could have.
Well, the other thing that we're gonna do for the town, and that you're required to do by your grant agreement, is you gotta check, well, the contractor is bidding, at least the one you're selected, and all their subs, that they're not on the debarred list with the state of Vermont. And we can run that check. But that's in here as well. We should know, if they're looking at the state standards, and it says it in there, that you can be debarred to receive any state funds. So they should know that, but we'll double check that even before when you decide on a contractor and they got subs, then we'll run that. And
Does
that's
anybody
about
have any
it.
other questions?
You know, you got so much to do, I'm sorry
So
it took
then-
so much time.
I would make a motion that we are going to proceed forward with putting this out to bid.
A second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you.
And I will provide you with a new revised draft with all these final dates and all that and
All right.
for the RFP.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Absolutely.
So that is our MRF update. We don't have to add that in. Road Commissioners report. Hey Charlie,
Not much.
how's that truck?
That's fine.
It's working good now.
Sorry, I got launched.
Got the radiator replaced?
What's that?
Did you get a radiator replaced, is that right?
Well, went down for a noise, and we had a clutch put in it like just over a year ago. They did another clutch. They did, the radiator was leaking. They did an oil pan. They did all, just, it seemed like every time they turned around, there was something else for them to do.
Okay.
Thank you. But yeah, it just went down for a noise.
And I received an email, we talked about it today from Weston. Could you just give everybody a little bit of an update on that? There's a portion of road that belongs to Andover and it's a class 4 road.
It's an
And,
old tavern.
okay, and do you want to give everybody a
So
little?
I think they're doing a subdivision. Do you know if they want to do some sort of housing or whatever there? And they want to access it, I believe, through Andover because it's a shorter road, but it's class 4. So the way that I would read it would be it's on the property owner's expense to take care of any upgrades to it. It's only 0.05 miles, which is about 260 feet in Andover. The rest is in Weston. I don't believe they need a culvert. I spoke with them a long time ago, I think, when they were asking questions about it. So I don't believe there's anything as far as the board you guys need to do other than tell them it's okay, I guess, to come in from Andover. I mean, it's a class 4, so they can drive on it anyhow. It's public access.
Question, is this access they want in order to do the construction of the subdivision? Or is it going to be for the use of the people that live there to go this way or that way?
I have no idea. I didn't see any writing specifying
Okay. Because
Any
I'm wondering if it's
details
a class 4 road. if
like
it's-
that. They just said wanted to
Andover
access through Andover because it was a shorter distance.
Okay.
I had the misfortune of trying to keep up with what Chester's saying about their class 4 roads, and like there's different like property owners who like feel like it's a bigger onus on them if people start using it, and but then a property owner can improve it. But like we haven't gotten into all that stuff in Andover, but are any of the abutting properties involved in this project, or are they all
They have to be
involved?
notified per law, and so they have their say, so to speak.
I mean, we have in the past, like up on Boone Road, not complained when people improved the road.
Right.
But certainly there should be no assumption that the town was going to take anything upon itself.
Right.
Right, that was my concern, and that's why I asked Charlie, would it look, in the future, would it be something where we would have to take on the maintenance of this if they decided to try and put it up to a higher class? But Charlie, then he told me the length of it.
From what I read in the email, the person that wrote asked if you all wanted something, would it be prudent to ask them to write something that indicates that the town of Andover would not be taking any responsibility for any maintenance of the portion of that road that's in Andover?
You can, but it's written in the policy, and if we follow our policy from '93, then it's stated that we do no maintenance on class 4s. But
wonder if
it's
it's
always,
worthwhile.
that's always a good idea to have a little extra. Have it written down.
To have that
Can
in
be
writing. I mean, they
filed away.
asked if you all wanted something, would need something.
Right.
Is that something that would make,
I make a
People more
motion that that we respond to them and say, yes, we would like something in writing that says that they understand that we are absolutely not going to do anything to upkeep that little piece of road
In perpetuity.
in perpetuity. Anybody want to second it?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Who will write that?
And in the meantime, anybody else who's, well, really, it's not just a budding landowner, it's anybody in
If it's a-
town.
if it's a-
Anybody,
if it's a class
public-
four, it's open
it's a
to
public
public.
asset. It's not just people who might own property there.
I mean, if it was me to own the property, I would ask for it to be discontinued because I wouldn't want everybody to be able to drive into my development, so to speak. But they may never, you know, go that route.
Jeanette, was there an email from these
There was.
people? Can you forward, you probably already did. Can you forward it to me again though?
Yeah.
I will respond to it.
Thank
You
you.
want to?
Yeah.
Okay,
That'd be great.
thank you.
I believe it was from somebody in Weston, it wasn't the
It was, yeah.
landowner. Yeah.
right, it wasn't a landowner, it
No, it was
was
the, might
someone
have
from
been.
the planning commission in
Right.
Boston.
It's not so simple to say what we might do, we don't know. I know where Old Town Road is, but I don't know what this piece of road, where it
But if we have no
to.
responsibility
Yeah.
for it, then
But I don't know if it's a road we'd want to just throw up or not.
Well, it's 260 feet
Yeah.
in Andover, so really, by the time you maintain the road, put in a turnaround for us to turn around, I mean, it's really a waste of a little piece of road.
Oh, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
want
I mean, on
to do
Weston side, they can choose to do whatever they want, and I don't know, they may decide to bring it up to a higher standard, I don't know, but that's, you know, Weston's choice.
we don't want to be caught in that though,
Right.
where we would have to then.
Yeah.
So, but Chris is going to direct that, right? Thank you, Chris. All right, anything else, Charlie?
I don't think so.
All right, well, thank you.
Oh,
You're welcome.
I got a question for you real quick. Did we, and I might have missed it when I wasn't here at the last meeting, I was on vacation. But salt prices, did we settle that?
We did,
Okay, perfect, don't need to
Yes.
know, thank you.
thank you.
98 and change, and the only other one we got was 102, I believe.
We're gonna have plenty though, right?
I don't know. I'm actually, to be honest with you, I'm a little nervous because it's Cargill, and if you drive down to Rockingham, they have a salt shed, and they've always had a big tarped tube of salt behind it, and there's no tube of salt behind it
Oh,
at all. So we will see.
as we run out, make sure we get ours.
As I've been ordering it, it's been here about 2 to 3 days after I order a load, and it's really early in the season, so I'm a little nervous about that too. But we do have Appalachia as a backup. It's more money, but you don't need to have an actual signed contract with them. You can just call them and say we need a load, and they'll do their best to get one here. I don't know if the time frame would be any better than a couple of days because it's coming from Troy or whatever.
Can only do what we can do.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so now we'll move on to budgeting. And are we thinking, should we move right directly to,
Highway, which is why Charlie's here.
there we go.
Makes sense.
One of the reasons Charlie's here.
Here we are. Now, all right.
Charlie, do you want a copy of this that they're looking at, the budget?
Sure. Thank you.
We don't.
Might be an extra right here.
Oh, yeah, there is, yeah.
Yep, and so it's on page 3, Charlie.
Why don't you just pull a chair to
I
Hey,
here?
you wanna sit here?
Yeah.
I'll sit over here.
Be closer. Be closer. Do you just want to start at the top?
Start at the top.
Calcium chloride? Any thoughts?
I think we're fine.
We're fine if we keep it at 10.
It was 95.
95.
This year was really dry, so we didn't grade that much, just because we tried to grade a few roads and then chlorided them heavy and they wouldn't hold. It was just too dry. So I think we did okay. That's probably why we were under a little bit.
Okay.
But a normal year, I think that's probably where it needs to be.
How much percentage-wise was the hike in salt?
Almost $10, I think.
So,
Do you have that number, Jeanette?
so at least around 10%.
Yeah, 10% for sure.
So do we need to increase to 66,000?
Do you know how we came in last year?
Yep, so your far left column, last year's total was 54,000. So
Oh, yeah.
this year we budgeted for 60,000. So if we use that same amount of salt, we're gonna be over
A little over,
budget because of the
yeah.
increase.
Right.
I don't know if you wanna, we can certainly wait until January till we have a few more loads under our belts to set that number. We just barely got our first bill today for 5,200, so we're just barely getting started on that.
And that's just too low.
So you've got one more meeting in December, we've got a meeting in January, and if we had to, we could also budget the second meeting in January, so we could wait and have 2 months worth of numbers.
I think we should
I think-
up it by 10%, but keep in mind
We
that we
could
could always
right.
adjust it, but at least it's been already addressed. If we see that it's, trending. by now.
Trending.
Does that make it 66?
66.
Okay. We'll revisit it, right?
And sand, we were under budget. You said you thought we were.
I'm sorry, go
No,
ahead.
I was just gonna say, that was my bad. I was trying to think back on what happened and why we went over so much, and I think probably it was a board meeting similar to tonight, and you guys asked, what did I think we would need, and I probably said 2,500, and you just did the $22 times 2,500, and it came out to 50, or 50, where are we? 55.
55.
So you guys use that number, and that, to me, that you never really know. On average, I think it's been about 28 or 29 over the last 9 or so years. Is typically what we put up. Some years we don't use as much, some we use more. So I think that's what happened there. But I'm never, if we have the opportunity to fill the pile, we're never gonna stop and have a hole in the pile. We're always gonna cap the pile off to shed water and snow. So it just is gonna be kind of a guess as far as total yardage. So I don't
Want to
know.
do 3,000? We
Did
know it's
they-
gonna be
yeah,
22 a yard, so we got
So
a letter
he
from
did say,
Shaves.
yeah, that's
that
my
they've
next
committed to
question.
the $22 a yard, which is the same price as this year.
Right.
Do we wanna just increase
I
the
think
yardage though?
that would be wise.
Do the 3,000? So 3,000
And we know
times
we have
2
the
is
sand.
66,000.
66 again. Yep.
How did we budget so much for crushed gravel but not
Wow.
spend it?
Because it was so dry this year, like I said, we
It
didn't
saved
do.
us.
In the past, we've been 30+ thousand pretty much across the board for the last number of years.
Well, and Charlie, isn't that the number that combined with SurePack, they kind of, sometimes the two of them add up to what we spend on something? like
Yeah, and I
that?
was gonna ask the board, is there any reason why we couldn't put road material category versus gravel and SurePack and just do, whatever those two add up to? Are they both 32 or 30 and 32?
32, 32.
32 and 30.
Yeah, so 64, just road materials, because to distinguish SurePack
Okay.
from gravel. I mean, when Red was on the board, he said anything white was SurePack and anything brown was gravel, but that's not really the case the way that it's made, but that's how he figured it out. So just for the ease of it, could we just do road materials? I mean, we still would have a stone category, a line item for stone during mud season, which we occasionally need. But rather than having those both, because I don't even know how you break it down, to be honest.
They're labeled differently when we
I
get
mean,
the
we do order
roads,
SurePack,
load
but then
slips.
there's plant mix, which isn't SurePack, and anything from Mike O'Neill, brown gravel isn't SurePack. And
Is it okay with your budgeting to combine them?
We had them combined once and then I ended up pulling them back apart because the way the invoices come in,
If it works better for
they're
you.
distinctly labeled as one or the other.
Okay.
So
then just keep it-
all I'm in the habit of doing is saying to everybody when they say, why are we over in SurePack and why are we under in gravel? It's, well, they're similar things.
Right.
And the two of them together add up to what's budgeted, really.
If it works for you, then just keep it, but in my brain, I'm just thinking total
Sure.
road
Yeah.
material.
Okay.
Looks like they should both go up a little though.
I'm always for putting gravel on the roads. I don't necessarily think they need to go up. I think we've been okay the last few years. If we don't want to get too high with the budget, but I agree with you because everything's going up.
Well, you're at
We spent
Back-
70 last year and we're,
just on
And
SurePack,
64.
yeah.
Yeah,
69 and 10, so we're at 80.
So if you do 35 and 35,
27.
That works for
Yeah.
me.
offset them more.
Okay.
Is that enough? Do you think, Charlie?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stone?
I think that can stay what it is. Very rarely do we buy just stone by itself.
Ledge.
So stone stays at 7,000 then?
Yeah. And most of the ledge that we buy is, I think the ledge category is what we call riprap for doing the
I was
ditches.
gonna ask.
And most of that we roll into the grants and aid. So not too much would be on us, so that's probably okay too.
1,500?
Yeah, I think so.
Culverts.
I don't even know where they are pricing now.
Do we have more culverts to do?
Oh, we always have
Always
culverts to
have.
do, but we've got, I usually just figure out what the budget is and order that amount.
In order, whatever.
Yeah.
0. Don't order any.
Now we still have a bunch to do we didn't get to this year, but
Just keep the 7,500.
yeah, I think we're okay.
Cold patch.
That's probably fine, that's just your pavement patch.
Yeah. Potholes.
Yeah,
It doesn't work.
yeah. The
We
cold
tried.
patch stays and then the actual pavement around it breaks out is what
Yeah.
happens, but
And then
The
hot mix.
That's the same.
yeah,
Idea.
that's like a small truckload to run down. We'd probably be even over 500, but hopefully it wouldn't be much.
So do we want to bring it up a little bit?
No,
No, keep it at 5?
just leave it there.
And then highway signs.
That should probably come up a little bit. Signs have gotten expensive. Even if you brought it up to like 800.
Okay.
Okay. And then seeding and mulching materials.
Again, a lot of that we tie into the grants and aid. I write off most of the mulch. $5 a bale though, so 100 bales. Let's just keep it the same,
Okay.
because that would be in excess of what's covered through any sort of grant work. So I think that's a safe number.
Excuse me.
Could we go over to the cemetery fund on page 5 and do that tonight?
You don't have to?
Yes, we did, didn't we?
No, next page, highway.
Oh, sorry about that.
No, there's none.
Yeah, let's continue the highway and then we'll go bounce right over to cemetery after that. How does that sound?
Parts and tools.
Rental equipment. Isn't that's what I
Yeah,
have.
that's what I have too.
It's under the staple.
I don't have it. Parts and tools.
Okay.
Yeah.
Page 4?
I have it, but it's down,
It's down
Okay,
further.
I'm on the wrong page.
so it's page,
Yep, the rental equipment, page 3.
okay, rental equipment,
Well, we already spent
I was
12,000
gonna
this year.
say we were just about,
We got an extra week or something on. Seems like we always need an excavator a little longer than what we planned for.
15?
That'd give us another week over what we budgeted last year, I think.
trying to think, what was it, 44
48.
for the month, 48 for the month,
By the
48?
time we got done with trucking too.
Right.
So did you say 15, Rich?
It's a guess. What do you think?
that still doesn't give us a week though, if we were talking about a whole extra week of it.
Well, no, it would be a week, it wouldn't be, that was a
48 was a
month,
month.
4,800 a month for the excavator.
So that would give us 3 months, basically.
So you wanna stick with 16? Charlie, does that work?
16, is that what we're
It was
thinking?
12 last
It
year.
was 12, I think you guys were saying 15, I think would be
Yeah.
fine.
15.
15, yeah.
1.5.
How about outside contracting? Knock that down at all?
Well,
We have something big coming up?
yes and no. So we've been trying to crack seal for the last number of years, and because Nikon always gave us the best bang for the buck, we were going with them, and we were usually doing 2 days. They changed ownership, and they literally doubled their prices. So what they used to do for 4,500 a day in town is now like 9,000. So this year I really wanted to crack seal it, and we didn't because I knew that it was going to be so high. I really think it needs to stay there.
20 grand.
Yeah.
What else is covered under that?
Any
Besides-
like hired work that we did.
If we have a culvert we can't
Culvert we
do, that
can't
we
do.
hire out, like the culverts we had done around the Oxbow before paving was all under outside contracting. The
And that
town-
signage that they did, didn't we pay for that also? Didn't they put up signing for,
When we did the road closure,
Yeah.
that signage might have come out
Yeah.
of that.
And the driveway work at Middletown Cemetery, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Highway fees?
I think those are still gonna be that same price, I haven't heard otherwise, so it needs to be at least 640.
Okay.
If you hear otherwise, just let us know and we'll
Yeah, I'll do that.
relook at it.
Highway supplies?
I'd like to see it stay up there.
Yeah,
Okay, 6,000.
Yeah.
Contracted service highway.
I don't even know what that would be.
well, so, the rags and my
Oh, that,
rags, we
yeah.
are under a contract. Uniforms have its own line item. I'm trying to think what else.
This last
We're
year's 921, but we only had this year's budget of 300.
Yeah, let me, something, I don't know if something came off that, let me pull it up and just see what's.
Did we take, if I remember correctly, did we take the rugs off, having them done as frequently?
Well, yeah, but those are under the administrative portion because those are office. The rags, the guys still have done once a month.
Okay.
But yes, I did lower the frequency that I do rugs. Let me, I don't know why that was 900 though. Let me find out what else is under that. Contracted. And like for the office, that's what I put the copier contract under. Yeah, I just have rags under it this year, so last year. Oh, last year I did the generator service under that because we did sign a contract to do one generator.
Right.
So that's why it was so much higher. So it can stay around that amount if we're just leaving the rags under that.
All right.
Stay at 3?
Well, I say that, hold on. This year, we are at 235 already and we're only halfway through the year, so that needs to be probably 500.
Okay. Parts, tools, highway.
I would think that'd be okay, but it looks like we're
We're over.
trending high. Yeah,
Might be at least 3.
probably. Last year 39, but we're at 13
Yeah.
already.
Training, highway.
We haven't had any paid trainings that I can think of.
Well, MSHA, I always put it under
We
that.
do
You have to go to
MSHA,
MSHA.
That's right, yeah, we do that annually.
So we left it at minimal because actually one year we didn't have to pay or we didn't pay much because there was a grant to cover it, Sam said.
Right.
So leave it at 300?
Yeah. Ooh, now the biggies.
The grader. Do we want to start there?
Do we usually break it down like that, or we usually just have a
Roll it
lump
up,
sum?
yep.
Right?
If you look in the third column, there's just a total.
I think we should leave them the same.
Or at least until we find out how much the backhoe's gonna cost.
What's wrong with the backhoe?
Everything. It's got leaky cylinders, it's got injector pump I think that needs to be replaced, it's got a valve body that needs to be replaced. I did have,
How much does Gurney's charge to do town maintenance?
yeah, right. A lot.
I know.
I worked with them for almost 13 years, they do good work, but they charge a lot. I did have the cat guy, he actually showed up today, come and look at our backhoe, and he's working on a price for trade-in and newer backhoe. I did ask him, what could we do? You know, he's a salesman, you get this, but I did ask him, what could we do to the backhoe to increase like the trade-in price? And he literally said, probably just cosmetic stuff. Any maintenance that we do to it, we're gonna eat. He's not gonna give us any, even tires.
Right, yeah.
So the tires are gonna be about 9,000, which it needs right now. And he said he might be able to increase the price by 1,000. So in my opinion, you
It's a
just
loss.
trade it the way it is, it would be a loss. I did talk to him about the grader just through conversation, and he said 54,000 bucks for that transmission was kind of a lost cause too, because you'll never get anything back out of it. And he said the motor, you know, would probably be next, and that's another 30 or 40, but you're looking at $500,000 for a new grader and almost a year out. So, and I know you guys have decided before to wait on it, but I'm just, at some point, something's gonna have to happen, so.
What one of those machines do you think is the most that we would need sooner if you were to take a guess?
I don't know.
It's a hard.
It's tough just because I'd love to say get rid of the backhoe and buy an excavator. I said that years ago, but I talked to Chris about this a while ago. You get a call in the middle of the night, you got a tree down. You immediately come here, grab a saw, jump in the backhoe and go, because you can grab the tree and throw it out of the road. You can't do that with an excavator. So we kind of do need the backhoe. If the loader, for whatever reason, I know it's new, but if the loader ever went down, then you have a front loader on the backhoe that you could still use to load sand or gravel or whatever. The grader gets used year round too though, so.
Right.
But just the cost, it's almost not apples to apples, because you're looking at $500,000 and then probably $150 for a new backhoe. I think in 2011, when the town bought that one, it was 110. So I bet you're looking at 150 or 60.
And are either one of these, I know I keep saying the leasing, is that anything that is ever entertained? I know some towns, not that we would even do this, they're buying graders and working with another town, which
Oh,
I
really?
just don't see how
Yeah,
that could happen.
that would be
It
really
wouldn't-
difficult.
Yeah.
I don't think really leasing would be the way to go, but Jeanette and I have talked briefly about how we've done the loader and how it's easier financially because we're paying for the total fee, so we'll own it. But it's just like buying a vehicle, so 7 years, I believe.
I think it's a 7-year
So we have like a
lease. You just make
7-year
a 1-year
warranty and a 7-year
Right, 1-year
payment plan.
payment.
So it's 25 or 6,000 a year, however it figures out. And I'm sure you pay a little extra because,
Right.
you know, interest or whatever.
But it is something we're
But
gonna have
it
to
is
think about.
easier to swallow rather than, you know, like for
makes
the
it more
greater
affordable for sure.
$500,000 if you're paying
Right.
70 grand a year or 60 grand a year over the course of 7 years or whatever. However that math figures out, then you could probably do that. But the hardest part is we've always tried to keep the big heavy equipment, the grader, the loader for like 20 years. Well, just the way the rotation works with the trucks of being around 7 is every few times you're gonna have 2 or 3 pieces of equipment come at the same
Yeah.
time. So you're never gonna get it easy where, you know, a piece of equipment and then you get more in the fund and then another piece of equipment, you build back up. So I think those days are gone where we're able to just pay in full for
Right.
equipment. I know it's not what you guys want to hear, but I think that's what we're up against.
So for the moment, do we want to leave these 3 numbers the same? For the total highway
Well-
equipment? Do you know what I mean? Do we want to leave those numbers the same for the moment, or do we want to?
The problem is you just said tobacco needed some, just.
Right.
So that's gonna be this fiscal year, right?
Yeah, that'll be this.
Yeah.
Well, what I need to do, and I mentioned at one of the board meetings, I think you guys all said it would be wise, is to have one of their techs come here, go through the backhoe and then say, it needs X, Y, and Z. This is roughly what it's gonna cost. And then you guys as a board need to say, well, if we're not gonna get any more for trade, let's just get pricing on a new one, or let's get it fixed and know that we're not gonna be able to recoup much of that money, if any, later on. But I think that's how we have to go. We know cylinders need to be repacked. We haven't had good luck with the heavy equipment cylinders, the truck cylinders we can do, but we can take them off, bring them down, have them rebuild the cylinders, so that's minimal, but it's the engine work and the hydraulics that are gonna be costly. They're getting $200 plus probably for labor an hour,
Oh, yeah.
and it's pretty labor intensive, so. I think if anything, if you guys leave these numbers, then you just really need to look at like the capital equipment fund.
Right.
And I know we roll over surplus funds into,
We already
cap-
have a surplus.
I know this year we won't, but I mean in the
Yeah.
past that we have.
Right.
Don't
Yeah,
we
we did
usually
raise-
divvy it up 50-50?
What's that?
Don't we usually divvy it up between
Yeah, we do,
had,
and last
yeah.
year, for this
The
budget
bud-
that we're in,
the highway bridge fund and capital equipment?
yeah, the highway bridge fund, the appropriation went up to 100,
Yeah,
and capital equipment just went up this year to 85.
from 82.5, I think
Yeah.
it was, right?
Yeah.
So those are the numbers I think that we really need to,
Right. Those may have to go up if we're gonna keep doing what we're doing.
right,
So leave this at 65 and 50?
for now. Because we're gonna be paying for we'll be paying for the next tandem that comes,
Right.
when that comes in, and then say a backhoe or a piece of equipment, and then only 2 or so years down the road, Daryl's truck will be due, so they're gonna get these real close together.
Okay.
Now to the cemetery fund?
Yes.
We could do that whole section, couldn't we?
We could.
Municipal budget transfers to funds?
The bridge fund? Where do we want to start? Do we want to start at the cemetery fund just so that we get that taken
I
care
mean,
of?
we can, if we're gonna do the whole thing, well, we can do that whole part if we wanna do it.
So,
So the bridge fund is sitting at 100?
Should be 100 or more.
What if you leave that at 100 and go up to 100 for the capital equipment fund?
Good idea.
Just throwing it out there.
Nope. Roll away.
especially because we just did paving project. We do have bridge work that needs to be done, but we didn't get any bidders on it, so that's.
Okay, so we left the highway bridge fund at 100, but we raised
Raised
the
the-
capital to 100.
To 100.
Okay, so the cemetery fund is at 3,000. It's been there since 1991, correct? So I'm gonna say we raise it to 6.
Would,
Jeanette was shaking her head yes.
I'm in agreement, but
Huh? Are you in agreement with that?
So I would like to see things go out to bid on that, or at least pricing be looked into.
Yes,
when things are
absolutely,
done.
but that has nothing
I
to
mean,
do
I know
with
it's
this.
under the amount that has to go, but I would like to see pricing put out there for.
But I think we've already said that to them. I mean, I think they know that, but they don't have,
They don't have enough money. No, I agree with that, but
so 6,000?
I'm in favor of it.
You, 6,000?
yes, yes.
Okay.
The next two aren't gonna exist.
right,
They're zeros.
Zeros.
right.
So that section's done.
Okay.
all right.
You said capital equipment to 100, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't go shopping now.
No,
Sell that seed.
I'm not budgeting.
Well, I'm just saying when they start doing the shaving in January,
Do what?
when we start shaving in January,
Right.
things like that are still at risk.
So we're gonna go to, can we do the executive session after the financial orders and the correspondence first?
Are we done here?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not done.
I'm looking across the table at everybody, they're going.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know, right, yes. I think we should do financial orders and correspondence
Yeah.
first, can we switch that up? Jeanette, do you know if we can switch that up at this point, at this juncture? Or should we have done that earlier?
I think it's fine because the logistics are that Rebecca and I and Charlie all have to leave for your executive sessions, so I
Right.
can guarantee if you send us out the door, we're not coming back in here for financial orders.
Correct.
So let's start with financial orders.
And they're actually
They're
right
right
there.
here. And
Minutes. Susan, did Zoom work okay for you for the last couple of meetings? Did you hear okay? Okay.
those are yours.
Yeah, thank you very much.
No, I'm glad it worked. I sometimes worry
Yeah, no, it
we're
was-
at home,
it
they
was-
can't really hear or.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not
Went
like
okay.
being here, but it was, I'm glad I didn't have to just, I'm glad I didn't have to skip it off.
See what they trust me with, Charlie?
Not a thing.
Zero
Look at
things.
that.
Nothing in there?
They just let him touch the folder, but that's all.
No respect.
Hey, you weren't here for the last meeting.
I'm on vacation.
So really,
Vacation.
Did you have a good vacation?
I did.
Did you see grandkids?
No, I didn't go anywhere.
Oh, you didn't? You
was
stayed
here.
home? You were
I was
here?
here, but I figured if I'm on vacation, I'm gonna be on vacation. I got invited to dinner, so I thought, I'm on vacation, I'm not going anywhere.
I see your,
The same right now.
one of your dinner spots
About one of you
burned.
bumped the parts.
Well, you know, they've been closed,
Yeah.
What did that say?
so we're still paying lawn mowing in November. They're a little slow bill, I guess.
Rental equipment was 15,
Yeah, about that.
and outside was 20,
Yep.
640,
Yep.
6,000,
Does anybody wanna
500,
estimate how long the executive session is gonna be?
and
10 minutes.
3,000.
Five.
So I'm gonna call, like, I could leave before it was over.
Would you like a ride home?
It depends on what vehicle you have.
I have my,
You don't have
my
the jump
Mazda.
up?
I don't have, no, you do not have to climb up. No.
That would
Is
be
there room
amazing.
for me in the back of that car?
Yeah, you can sit in the back. She can sit in the front seat.
That would be
There's
amazing.
plenty.
I have to call my,
You won't even have to sit
I
in the
have to call
car.
my.
That was my question, because if I'm sitting in the car seat, we're in trouble.
Well, you know, if two of us just lift you, we could slide you into the back of a truck.
I just have to call him and tell him that,
Yeah,
yeah.
tell him.
Okay, right, two.
So I was gonna tell him he doesn't need to.
In 1 minute, yes. Correspondence, do we have any correspondence? I think we went over that, what I had for correspondence. Do you have anything, Jeanette?
Hey, Rich, would you give me that singular chocolate ball?
I
Thanks.
was debating that one.
Cut it in half.
I beat you to it.
Oh, I got a jet. No, I don't
That's
have my
something to keep me
jet.
awake.
Okay, no correspondence, all right.
I move that,
So- Go ahead, Nikki.
I move that we move into executive session
For the purpose of.
for the purpose of employee salaries
Budgeting.
budgeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
All right.